The current Venice Architecture Biennale concern was the call for reflection on the past, present, and future of architecture. Fundamentals and Absorbing Modernity, as his curator, Remco has proposed, was conceived as an invitation for each national pavilion to dig into their modernity heritage over the past 100 years. Inaki Abalos is the curator for the Spanish pavilion. He is an architect by Architecture School of Madrid and the current Dean of Graduate School of Design at Harvard.
Interior, the theme of the Spanish pavilion, celebrates Spain's collective experience in their Mediterranean climate condition. According to Avalos, political, cultural, and socioeconomic factors delayed Spain's involvement in the modern movement. This, in addition to climatic features, allowed the Spanish architects to propose interior-exterior dynamics, which other climatic zones would not allow.
From this perspective, he supports his argument through two main ideas. First, he affirms that Spain's delays to absorb modernism became an opportunity to come up with radical architectural ideas which helped them innovate and redefine past typologies. For instance, three kinds of Mediterranean architectural configurations served as both reference to historical and contemporary projects selected for Spanish pavilion: courtyards, grottos, and thermobaths. Hence, his second idea describes how these circumstances made Spanish architects link their interior to materials, culture, and climate, which are synthesized in terms of thermodynamic materialism, matter, form, time, and beauty. The pavilion celebrates Spain's interior as an environmental construction represented in the refurbishment and regeneration of Spain's built heritage. The exhibition shows 12 examples of Spanish contemporary architecture displays as folding images and constructive sections, all of them accompanied by referential projects through time.
But what is thermodynamics and how is it represented in the exhibition? Javier García Germán describes thermodynamic as a flow that occurs when there is an energy difference between two systems: energy, temperature, or height gradient. Architecture is a spatial and material construct which can capture, transport, store, and release energy, and thus modulate the flow of energy in an area. As a matter of fact, one of the most relevant planes for architecture is the vertical one. It is the spatial dimension in which buildings are measured by gravity and solar radiation. This is why the pavilion exhibition conceived the architectural section as a thermodynamic tool. Indeed, it was not supposed to be only a mechanism used to visualize thermodynamics, but also used to understand how it interacts with the space and the physical properties of the materials used to construct it. However, the constructive sections used in the exhibition were not descriptive or clear enough to explain how thermodynamics is used in order to design the space. These constructive sections better performed as a tool for showing materiality, which in fact not really represented the Spanish vernacular materials, but instead contemporary ones such as polycarbonate, glass, and metal, among others.
Abalos affirms that the concept of the interior varies with climatic regions and leads to differentiated modus operandi that is linked to two broad climatic areas, cold and warm, which, according to him, generate two primal architectural prototypes. The former involves the construction of a compact, machined, parameterized artificial ambience based on management of comfort using environmental strategies designed for seasonal cycles in cooler countries. The latter, projected from more solar geographies, the tropical and subtropical belt, including the Mediterranean, is based on skillful, sensualist management of various elementary resources with more predominant daily than seasonal thermodynamic cycles.
Avalos approaches to the Spanish heritage of modernism by critically implying that countries in cold climatic zones are not able to use thermodynamic strategies as Spanish architects do. However, Are countries in cold climates not able to produce efficient interior spaces that respond to their conditions? Warm and cold climatic areas do not only generate two primal architectural prototypes. Cold climate regions are also able to deal with interior-exterior dynamics. Indeed, it seems like Avalos has not considered examples from other cultures applying thermodynamic strategies in project design.
Abalos' argument is mainly focused on the relation between the Mediterranean and the Western culture, whereas there are many Oriental countries that invented their own method of dealing with thermodynamics. Korea, for instance, is neither located in the tropical nor subtropical belt, but they have an interesting typology, the Hanok. It is a Korean traditional house which employs multiple interior strategies in order to respond to the hot, humid climate in the summer and cold climate in the winter. The hanok has a large surface of paper wall envelope and it is not thermally insulated. In the summer, the flexibility of the external envelope helps the residents to accommodate the extremely hot and humid climate in Korea. The paper panel envelope can be completely opened so it allows cross ventilation. The role of the courtyard in this typology is important since it becomes a space of social activity as it is shaded for most of the daytime. However, Abalos cannot deny that even the example which successfully responded to warm climate conditions had to apply systemized mechanic devices during the winter. In the case of Hanok, a heating system is installed in order to heat the interior during extreme cold in the winter. It is clear that thermodynamics strategies are being used worldwide. The fact that cold climate areas need systemized devices such as air conditioning or heating does not mean that their interiors are not innovative or does not take into account daily thermodynamic cycles.
The use of systemized devices cannot be claimed to be a failure in thermodynamic skill management. As a matter of fact, these devices can be considered as successful as courtyards, grottos, and thermal baths dynamics are, due to the fact that they also enhance the quality of interior spaces, especially in cold climatic zones. In regards to what was previously said, the solutions reflected in the traditional Korean house are often employed in contemporary architecture in Korea. Gaon-jae at Seoul, South Korea, is a direct example of the translation of the traditional hanok into a contemporary residential project. Another modern example of thermodynamics management is the Ford Foundation building, designed by Kevin Rush and located at Midtown Manhattan, New York. The design experimented innovative environmental control strategies through its spacious winter garden. The atrium, which is framed by a 10-story high glass wall, absorbs solar heat and conserves it in the interior space. However, in summer, the gardens help to decrease thermal sensations during high temperatures. Thus, this beautiful interior space acts like a green and glass house.
Inaki Avalos took primary criticism toward Western architecture and emphasized its inability to approach architectural design in terms of thermodynamics considerations. In spite of the fact that there were some insufficient description of thermodynamics as the project guiding principle, his theme and technique of the exhibition is acceptable because Avalos managed to present many successful Spanish interior examples that directly supported his argument.
Overall, his argument was directed as a biennalist theme and not as an architectural manifesto.